It's finally here. You've written the perfect email marketing campaign, it's loaded into your CRM, and best of all, it's taken email marketing and templates from some of the best email marketers out there. You hit the send button, daydreaming about the types of results that this campaign is going to bring. You might actually end up with too much money. A few minutes roll by and you check your inbox. Nothing yet, but that's fine. It's only been 15 seconds. So you head downstairs, make a cup of coffee, and come back 15 minutes later, still nothing. Strange. That guy in the book said he had sales roll in within a few minutes. You give it another hour, still nothing. 2 more hours, absolute crickets. By the end of the day, you've refreshed your inbox 100 times and you've got absolutely nothing to show for it. So what went wrong? This extremely frustrating but all too familiar story is based on something I myself have experienced many times. I would read all the books, follow all the gurus, and yet my email marketing just wasn't working at the rate I wanted it to. What was also extremely frustrating was the lack of results my email automation was getting. I had set up squeeze pages and opt-in pages with lengthy and complex email automation behind them, but I never seemed to make those fabled sales on automation. In this video, I'm going to cover off the top email marketing mistakes that are killing you, killing your business, and more importantly, how to fix them. The problem is where you're getting your advice from. That's the root of most of these mistakes. There are typically 3 sources of advice that you'll find, not just for marketing, but for anything. This is Green Pete, because he just recycles what other people have told him without testing it or trying it himself. Gary Vee does this with his emails. Have you seen what Alex Hormozi does? He's got the only real email marketing strategy that works. These people are champions of other people's stories without testing their methods. Frank Kern, Ryan Deiss, Oren Klaff is the only email marketing champion on the planet. You should follow what they do. Have you heard of the OLA method or the close client system? It's what they use to get killer results. What you need to do is just set up one long automation chain and set it on autopilot. Then watch the sales roll in. Just add traffic to the top of the funnel. That's what they're doing, and it seems to be working well for them. You'll never see them trying anything themselves. It's always second-hand information, and their favorite piece of advice to give, they believe that there is one true method and that someone else has cracked it. Let me be clear, not one person has the method or the system. They might have a system that works, it might work for them, it might work for most of their clients, but nothing works 100% of the time for 100% of the market. Green Pete's have a habit of telling you what you should be doing, but when you ask them what they're doing, they always have some kind of excuse. Yeah, I'm in a slightly different market, so it wouldn't really work for me. And the next time they offer you a piece of advice, ask them, is this something that you are doing, or is it something you've seen someone else do? There's a huge difference between copying and following what someone else has done because you want the same results that they've got, and following secondhand advice from Green Pete's because he believes what someone else has told him. Mistake number 1, following Green Pete's recycled advice. Mistake number 2, believing that there is one perfect magic bullet method. Mistake number 3, email automation is some wonder drug that delivers sales without work. This is Dr. Hypothesis. Dr. Hypothesis is really good at coming up with new ideas. He also works on the assumption that what sounds like a good idea is a good idea. However, he rarely, if ever, tests his ideas and puts his money where his mouth is. Everything he says is based on hypothesis and opinion, even if it looks and sounds convincing. There's no way a daily email would work. I'd unsubscribe straight away if I got an email every day. Design theory tells us that this type of email will convert far better. It has to look good and be well designed in order to get clicks. I think I'll get started emailing once every 2 weeks or maybe once a month to get started. Then I'll ramp up from there. Dr. Hypotheses are difficult to spot in the real world because they sound like they're talking with conviction. However, all of their advice is based on ideas, not practice. It sounds reasonable that a bi-weekly email would have more conversions. It sounds fair that daily emails would annoy people. It sounds like it makes sense that an email must be well crafted. The problem isn't that he's wrong, although a lot of his ideas are wrong, but that he never tests them and puts them into practice. His perfect ideas will never leave the generation stage. They'll never be set in stone and he'll never test what works. They'll always stay as a hypothesis and never be put into practice. Daily emails, I've seen multiple percentages increase in replies, calls booked, and conversions using daily emails. Would a weekly email work better? When I tested it, daily emails worked better. Beautifully designed, gorgeous looking emails. I've seen plain text, minimal HTML emails have a higher deliverability rate, click rate, and reply rate. I'm not saying that the ideas that Dr. Hypothesis gives are wrong. I'm just saying it's easy to come up with new ideas that don't require you to test the farm, so to speak. Test it for yourself and see. Mistake number 4, listening to pure speculation and hypothesis with no proof. Mistake number 5, only sending emails every other week. Mistake number 6, overly designing emails and listening to, again, design theory and not result-based evidence. And finally, let's meet Trench's Mike. Mike is a grizzled veteran. He's seen it all and he's seen one recurring theme in all of his experiences. Everyone wants abs, no one wants to do sit-ups. Mike does the work, makes a ton of mistakes, and slowly but surely figures out what works for him. And luckily, what works for his customers as well. But the advice that Mike gives sounds a lot like hard work. Send daily emails and engage with your list. Just act like you're writing to one person. Some automation is fine and it can work, but replace what's already working. Automation won't create sales out of thin air. You'll need to try a lot of different methods. I can show you what works for me, but it's a lot of work and it might not work for you. Focus on the message and the copy, not the design. Stripping away shiny features and focusing on the content is always a good way to go. Well, at least it always works for us. Email marketing is like any other form of marketing. There is an overwhelming deluge of opinions on what works, what doesn't work, and whatever the hot new trend is that's sweeping the internet at the time. I've had people tell me that I send too many emails, and I've had people tell me that my email signature doesn't work. I've had people offer to design beautiful emails and landing pages for that matter, and I can only go on the results that I've generated as evidence for what is and isn't working. Trench's Mike tends to tell people what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. Inside my coaching program, Sharon got results, and these are her exact words.
You've been right about a lot, Mike.
Good.
I am not shy or embarrassed to say I've earned $50,000 in the last 3 months because of your coaching.
It's tough and can feel like a lot of work because it is. And if you want to see the exact email marketing strategy that I'm using for my business and for my customers' business, then go ahead and watch this video that's come up on the screen right now. In it, I will walk you through the exact methodology, the strategy, the steps, and I'll even give you an email marketing campaign that you can use and test to see what works.